We'll just start kind of at the beginning, man. So just kind of introduce yourself, if you would, and tell us, where you're from and kind of where your journey started.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from the San Fernando Valley. I grew up all over, pretty much. My mom and dad were drug addicts. They were heroin addicts, so we kind of traveled, just different schools, just, a life of addiction. So, Pacoima, North Hollywood, Sun Valley, San Fernando, even some, a little bit of time out here, but pretty much throughout all the San Fernando Valley.
Gotcha. So you grew up kind of just in the valley, pretty much.
Yeah.
You mentioned that your parents were on drugs, is that what you said?
Yeah.
I mean, what was that for you like, and when did you realize, okay, this is my family dynamic, this is what's going on?
Yeah, it was, I mean, you know how you say when you grow up in something, it's just normal for you? So it was kind of normal, but I knew it was off because everybody in school and everybody around me was different. But I think when I realized, I didn't understand addiction at the time. I don't know that they're going to get sick if they don't have it. So when they're out there chasing, I'm just thinking they're not coming home, they're leaving me in the company of strangers, they're not feeding me, they're not. So you start having this idea in your head, damn, if your own mom and dad are not even caring about you, what's wrong? So that was the beginning. I just questioned stuff like that. I didn't get addiction. I didn't really understand it,
How old were you?
When I started thinking about this kind of stuff. Like 7 and 8, when you start, kind of developing identity as a boy, trying to figure it out or whatever. Yeah, it was around that time. You're watching TV and looking at examples of things, and you're hearing kids at school. I remember I used to think I went through an adoption process shortly afterwards. My dad went to prison and my mom went to jail. And I remember thinking damn, none of the kids in my school got to go to court and see lawyers and social workers and all that just to have somewhere to live. And it used to piss me off. And I used to get mad at everybody at school, and I just started getting mad at everything. So that was my early just understanding of addiction. It was all something, I thought something was wrong with me. So my mom, I think she did the best she could, in her addiction. You can love as best you can. So, which she failed. But I guess she tried, she did the best she could. But, if you're in addiction, you can't raise no kid, you can't love no kid. It's impossible. You got to choose one or the other because they both require full-time attention,
Yeah. So what does that do to, your self-worth? As a kid growing up, what do you feel in your emotions when, okay, my mom isn't there for me, my dad isn't there for me?
Trash. I feel like trash. I feel like a piece of shit. That's what attracted me to the gangs, because I could leave Brian James, I could kill him off and I could get a whole new nickname, a whole new identity. Because, Brian James, your own mom and dad don't want you, you got to go to court. I was done with that dude. I was dying to become somebody new, and it came you came with stuff, and, you're popular in school or whatever. So that's what drew me in, that. I didn't necessarily even want to, I wasn't a violent person. I didn't have hate in my heart. I was really sad and depressed. I just wanted my mom and dad to love me. But, as you get older and you start conditioning in the streets, that's when it started shifting over to anger and rage and all, the pain. So I started dabbling in the streets a little bit more, and then, the streets, when they say the fast lane, it's really quick. It's really fast. So, and I was dying for it, and by this point I was angry. I got cut from the team. It was an important game because I didn't get a C average. And I remember the school had gotten me tutors and all that, and I just didn't. And when I got cut from the team, I left school. I never went back again. That was the middle of 7th grade.
Middle of 7th grade. How old are you in the middle of 7th grade?
I don't know.
I don't even remember.
Probably 12, something like that.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
So when did you start gangbanging?
I started tagging first. Writing on walls and crews and stuff like that. And at the time, the gangs, especially in the Valley, probably in LA, everywhere, were pressuring tagging crews to join. And I had already been eyeing that. So the local, the one that was in the area that we were from, quit. I joined, quit right away. Like, I've been waiting for this invitation,
Yeah.
And, went to the park, got beat down, eye socket, but when they beat me down, Brian James was right on the ground, they picked up Lonely. They called me Lonely, and I had a purpose, I had a name, I had a neighborhood, and I was just like, this is the answer to all my problems. Like, I'm loved now. They told me, we love you, we got love for you. So in that moment, there was nothing in the world I wouldn't do to keep that.
Yeah, like brotherhood, that
Yeah,
that you were looking
yeah.
for. So you join the gang, you get jumped in, and I mean, I don't know much about your story, but I just assume you were probably one of the ones that were down to put in work, right out the gate, because you're saying you're searching for that.
Yeah, only because I wanted that. I wanted that acceptance, and and two, also, no matter what I've always done, I try to be the best, or give my all, pour myself as far into it. So immediately, yeah, it started off fighting, jumping people. That's where they say the street life is fast. Next thing you know, there's a gun in your pocket, you're rolling around with weapons, a recipe for disaster. But in that process, yeah, I went to juvenile hall a ton of times. I went to camp twice for 9 months. I went to YA, did 18 months.
As a juvenile?
Right now, I've been out a little over 3 years. That's the longest I've ever been free since 12 years old. I never pieced together a 6 months period since I was 12 years old.
So, in and out of juvie in your early teens, teenage years, when did you, let's just get into it, when did you catch that real case, and if you don't mind sharing, what went down?
Yeah, well, it's and the progress of my crimes elevated with the drug use too. So I began using drugs just like my mom and dad. I fell to that. Now, well, I'm a gang member. I'm on the outside. I look like the homie. He's putting in work. He's here, but inside, I'm literally a depressed, terrified little kid. Still the same. It's all an act. I was just a really good actor, and everybody else was the same. Because years later, I talked to whatever few homeboys that I got left are alive, and we realized damn, we're trauma bonded. We all just came from these terrible situations. But the crimes, the drugs got more intense, and then in '93 we went to a party. At that time there used to be house parties. They would pass out flyers and stuff like that, and we just went. It was my 3rd day out of juvenile hall, and they were like, he just got out, we'll go to a party. And I went with a lot of my homeboys. There was maybe 15 of us, and we caravaned to a party over here in Sylmar, and the goal was just to have a good time, drink, and just. But what you don't realize, and I realized later, is we were out past curfew, we're rolling around with weapons, we're on probation, we had no business on the streets. There was 10 things that were small things by themselves, but when you put them together, we're inside the party and we're all together. And they had this table where there was cups of beer like this for $1 and shots for 50 cents. And my boy put a $50 bill, and he's like, we're gonna drink for a little while. So we're doing it, and this guy comes up, he's an enemy, and he makes a comment or something like that, and a little shoving match happens. And I remember thinking to myself, dang, I just got out. I'm not trying to. Part of me was wanting to do good. I was in love with this girl, so I was going to try to, do good for her. And I said, let's leave. So we were leaving. We got in the car and turning off the block. Within 3 seconds later, I'd have been gone. But as we were turning, we seen the fight happen way down the street. And everybody just starts backing up. The car I was in sped down the street. It even clipped another car, and he just came to a stop. Well, underneath the seat, there was a knife. I had seen it there earlier. It was one of them big old Rambo knives. And I just second nature, because we had been doing this. It's like training. You just do it over and over, and it comes. So I didn't even snap. I'm still not in my mind I'm gonna hurt somebody or do anything. It's just second nature. I grabbed it and I just ran down there, and as soon as I ran up, there's people everywhere on both sides of the street, and this guy was on top of my friend with those things that lock the steering wheels, and he was hitting him with one of those, and I just pulled that knife out and I just swung it as hard as I could, and it hit this dude. And I remember in that moment, I jumped back and I was like, damn, and I broke.
You stabbed him?
I stabbed him, yeah, under the left armpit. And I remember I broke. I ran back to the car, and I found out later that a couple of my homies also stabbed him. So we run back to the car. It's complete chaos. And in the morning, I had promised my grandparents, I'm gonna go to church with you. I've only been out like 3 days, and they're already, they know as soon as I come out, I hit the streets. I wasn't trying to change. I wasn't trying to get involved with something that serious, and we went. I remember looking in the newspaper. I was trying to see in the metro section, and somebody died when we went to church. As we drove back from church that day, we just seen like Channel 7 was right there, Channel 5, and then the whole street was just lined with cops.
Trying to figure out what happened.
Or they knew.
Yeah, they figured it out. I remember telling my grandpa, I was like, Pop, just keep driving. And he was like, I can't. They were all looking at us. And
somebody snitched on you?
Yeah. Well, I'm a white boy from a Mexican neighborhood, and I had 3 dots in my eyes, and I had already been in juvenile hall, so they were just like, it's so-and-so from so-and-so. They're like, oh, yeah, we already know. We already know where he's at.
Yeah, you're already in the system.
Yeah. And, they just did like the felony arrest. Took me to the police station. Yeah.
And did you know it was a wrap? Like, did you know, like, oh shit, I'm done now. There is no coming back home. Or did you think, oh, I'm a juvenile. Like, I still have a chance here to finesse it?
I believed in my head that I believed the story that was told to me. Like, these are your homeboys, and they're loyal, and they're gonna hold their mud when the time comes. And yeah, I believed the lie. Because when the time comes, it's like when they start telling you like you're gonna die in prison, and you're like 16 or 15. You're not going home today. You're not going home no time soon. And like, so yeah, out of 7 people that they arrested, 2 of them told. And the only reason, not because I was like hard or tough or anything, but I had been in there and I knew I had done something wrong. I just kept my mouth shut and told them like I wasn't there. I just kept saying that over and over, and then they took me to juvenile hall. And in a way too, they were mad that happened, that I wasn't cooperating with them, so they handcuffed me and they took me to like a doorway where where they do property and stuff like that, and they had my grandparents right there, and they stuck me up against the wall just on purpose, and they were like, we just arrested Brian for murder right now. And I could hear like, my grandparents, I could hear my grandma actually, and it was their attempt, and they put me back in the holding tank, and yeah, that just like shut me down more. But
so you never got out after that until as your actual release, but you were in there from that arrest
until a little bit after I met you.
So
that's the thing. I knew I was guilty, and I knew that it happened at a house party, so I was probably gonna get convicted. If you're guilty as a juvenile at the time, you get out when you're 25.
That's what I was about to say. So did you?
So, but they also had a law that they passed. So at the time, I believe it was Hillary Clinton. She termed this word called super predator, and it was related to some case that happened in California, some kind of crime, but it was a kid. So they're basically saying, if these kids are to commit these kind of crimes at 16, just imagine what they'll be at 25. And when you hear that, you're like a super predator, like put them away forever. So they had this thing where they tried you as an adult. I fell under the super predator, I guess you would call it, whereas I had a record already. The offense was really serious, all the boxes, so they wouldn't let me plead guilty. I literally pled guilty in juvenile court, and they wouldn't let me. They bound me over and tried me as an adult.
And what was the sentence?
Well, I waited for court about 1.5 years, and the final sentence, after I went all the way to trial, and all 5 of us got found guilty. I went to trial with one of my co-defendants at the end. Us 2. We both got 20 to life, and then plus 5 years for the weapon.
So for people who don't understand, what is 20 to life? Because obviously there's more than 20 years left on your life. You're 16 at the time. So what does that mean exactly?
It was just a number, because when the crime is second degree, it's 15 years with an L, with a life on it. But the thing with the life sentence in California, if there's a life in it, it could be 1 day to life. Like, you're not going home. There was no going home.
So
it didn't matter the number.
Got you. So when you get sentenced and you're like, okay, this is my sentence, what's your mindset? Are you, fuck it, I'm down, this is what I signed up for? Or was it like, damn, I fucked up?
Yeah, I mean, deep down I knew I did, but I was still in that that mind state of wanting acceptance, and I had to redo it all over again, because now I'm in the county. I was excited, like I was like leveling up. Like, it's weird, like to think about it now, like it shows what a sick mind state I was in. Like I was excited, and I was almost so ashamed to say that today, like proud of what I did, because I was a pledge of allegiance. Like, I told you guys.
Yeah.
I told you guys I'm worthy of that, of you like accepting me and belonging me. And but the first chink in the armor came when, you know, you get told on, or like the letters don't come, and like those things, and you're like, dang.
Yeah, for real.
Why did I do
It's all sweet when you're outside, but then once you're behind them walls.
But you know what I learned too, and I didn't even get mad. Like if you're on the streets and you're a gang, it was you never are hanging out. Be like, well, if you get busted, I'm gonna write you a lot. The gang members are not on the streets writing letters.
Yeah,
they're sleeping on their mom's couch, like, oh
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Like nobody's sitting down and writing a letter. So I mean, at some point, that was never even part of the deal. But that's just something, you know, I guess when you're in there, you would expect.
So you're 17. You're in prison with that, you know, all adults. What was that like? Was it? I mean, not to be too vulnerable here, but was it scary?
No, yeah, I was terrified. I was scared to death. Like I was literally going in there to die. When I first went in there, you have a parole board hearing, like when you first go in, and it's like at month 6 or in the 9th month or something like that, and I went. And at this point, I'm still like, you know, even though everybody in the yard, like I'm meeting dudes that have been in prison 40 years that are not going home anytime soon. So I'm like, dang. And I've already witnessed like some things on the yard that were, you know, violent, that scared me. You know, I wasn't, nobody's ready for that, you know. And I remember I went to the parole board and I'm thinking, you know what, I'm going to try to maybe take a shot. He goes, if you get your GED, high school diploma, get a trade, learn some insight, get remorse, you know, work on yourself, stay out of trouble, you're going to go to the parole board in 20 years. And I was like, all right, I'm 19. I said, okay, I'll have some years left. I did the math and I said, if I do all those things and I check all those boxes, at this moment I was going to try to lock in or really, and both of them laughed at me. They're like, man, your parole officer hasn't even been born yet.
Right.
And it was in that moment that I was just like, you know what, fuck this. Everything I need to learn is right there in the yard, right there with the homies, and I literally gave up my life right there and just tried to learn everything I can, immerse myself in it, and be now the best gang member I can be in prison.
So you was, oh my fault. No, you go ahead.
You were 17 when you went in?
Well, I was 18. Yeah, on my 18th birthday is when I went to prison.
So, like, what was the day-to-day for you as an 18-year-old in prison? You know what I mean? Like, what was the day-to-day?
Purely just absorbing. Always, like, on high.
And when did you finally, I'm not going to say, like, finally, but when did you feel you've adapted and, like, okay, like, I can stand my own here, like, I'm going to make it through my sentence type shit. Like, you're not going to say worry about nothing, but, you know, you're going to hold it down until you get out.
I mean, I always knew that I was, but I was just, it's a lot to take in, and it was a really violent prison, and so I'm just trying to learn the rules. I didn't want to step out, you know, they had I told you it's racially charged, so I had got a job right away in the kitchen, and I used to go to the kitchen every morning at 4:30. They would pop my door, like about that much, kind of just alerting me it's time to wake up, would work, and then at 5 the door would open. So one day there was a riot on the yard. The Mexicans and the blacks had a riot. So, and it was serious. A lot of people got hurt. They helicoptered people out. So they locked the whole facility down for about 3 months. And then they opened it up. They said, here's how we're going to do the program. The blacks and the whites will go program one day. You'll go to work, you'll go to yard, everything, while the Mexicans are all the way locked down. And then the next day they'll rotate. Just until things kind of cool down, hopefully some conversations, politics happen, and things get squashed. Well, they come to my door and they're like, you know, you're new. The cops don't really know you. They just see a white boy right here. There's a possibility that they're going to open your door on the day with the blacks. Boom. They slid a big-ass knife under my door. They're like, be ready. But I'm already like, I'm not barely like a year in. So, you know, I'm talking to my cellie and, you know, he's kind of schooling me on what to do. Sure enough, well, 2 days later, 4:30 in the morning on the black and white day, boom, my door popped like that much. Oh, dude, I was super like scared. I was nervous. My cellie gives me a hug. I throw it in my pocket and I walk around the corner. I'm a rookie in this world.
Yeah.
So there's 3 sections.
It's like your first year in prison.
Yeah. I don't know how to move yet.
Right.
I'm not a soldier yet.
Right.
So there's 3 sections and there's a window. So all the windows can see each section. I'm not really up on game. They pop the blacks out. They've already seen me coming out. They already know who I am on the yard. Just the cops aren't familiar. I walk around the rotunda to go. It's a rotunda like a hallway to go to the kitchen. I'm going to whip this out and just start swinging it at the first person I see. I came around the corner. They were there. They're on top of me. I didn't even get to pull it out. they were just on me, booked me. They stabbed me 27 times.
Damn.
And I didn't even.
You got stabbed 27 times?
My first year. First year.
Damn.
Did you go like unconscious?
No, I went to the emergency room, and you want to know something crazy? I got stabbed on the same day that my crime happened.
Wow,
Oh,
that's
anniversary.
insane.
I don't know if,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's actually crazy as well.
Yeah.
So, how many of it was them stabbing you?
3 of them.
So,
And they're like grown men.
they thought you was dead.
Well, lucky for me, what they had, because at first I'm thinking it's a fight. I'm trying my best to, I'm just thinking I'm getting tore up. And then we go on the ground, the cops come, they sprayed us and they handcuffed us, and I'm breathing really hard, and every time I breathe in, everything hurts. Like I'm feeling it, and I look on the ground and you can see like the knives like wrapped up, and I'm like, damn. They put me in the ambulance. And,
They got you cuffed while you
yeah,
stabbed
no,
them?
yeah, they cuff
That's
everybody,
crazy.
because they'll jump back up, I'll jump
But-
back up. Yeah, that's how they deal with it. It's cold. And then we're pepper sprayed. And lucky for me, like the nurses said, they were ice picks that they used. They were long, like skinny ice picks, or else,
Yeah.
it hurt. And, I would like bleed in my sheets for like a week or something like that. But again, I was proud of that. Like, I took that. Like, I told you guys, it was like the same thing from the streets over. And the crazy part about it was I was not even mad at these dudes. They're soldiers. They're in the army. They did what they were supposed to do. I went to the disciplinary hearing, and I said, like, they didn't do it. Those were my friends.
Damn.
And they got released. Because at the time, if the victim says they didn't do it, they'll get it.
Yeah.
Just trying to be like, but that's the week I started using heroin also.
In prison, you started using it.
Yeah, because every time, like, when you go to a prison yard, like, if you know somebody, like, I had a homeboy there that was kind of in the mix, so every time he'd be like, we don't go to the pull-up bars, they're going to hit poison, or they're going to stab this dude poison, or whatever, something came. And I would know who's going to get hit, I would know the people that are going to do it, but the anxiety of it, because the yard, there's a feeling, it would almost paralyze me. Because of what happened to me, that's the only thing I could think of. So I'm on the yard, I'm trying to look cool, but I'm, like, paralyzed inside. Even though you know what it is. But that's like, yeah, it's a trauma, and I think that's why I turned to heroin shortly after.
For people who don't know, like, is it difficult to get heroin in prison?
No, it's just as easy as getting top ramen soups. Yeah, it's everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
And you buy it with like commissary money, you barter with it, or what?
Well, you would have people on the street send money, cash apps, Venmos, stuff like that. Unfortunately, sadly, it's the people, the families, and girlfriends and stuff like that pay for people's addictions in there. You have your hustles and stuff, but
After you got stabbed, did you have to go on any type of, like, did you have to go to the box, or did you get on lockdown or anything like that?
yeah, they sent you to the hole. They sent you to the hole just to like figure out the situation. But they knew what it was. They figured it out right away. They're like, "Dad, we opened the wrong door." But the bed card said white, so
Right.
they fixed it. Unfortunately, a little late for me, but
Right. So, did you ever spend a lot of time in the hole?
yeah, I did a total of 29 years and 2 months. I would say probably about 17 years of that was like in the hole and shit.
17 years is in the hole.
Yeah.
What's the difference between the hole and the chute?
Well, the hole would be like the county jail and prison. Like if you get in trouble in the yard, you go to the hole while you're waiting to your little hearing, whatever it was. You get caught with drugs, a weapon, or something like that. And once you get your hearing, okay, you're sentenced to 18 months. Then you'll go to the shoe or something.
And what is the chute?
The shoe is where you're like people in the shoe are staying there for 5, 6 years, 7 years.
And what is the experience like in the shoe? Are you locked down for a certain amount of hours in a day?
Yeah. Well, the last time I was in the shoe was when in my older years. I was in there for 10 years. It was like 9.5 years. And it's literally was the worst experience of my life. You don't create any new memories. It's a box. It's a windowless box. There's literally nothing.
So there's no windows.
There's no windows.
You spent 9 years in there.
Well, at Pelican Bay, I did 5 years in Pelican Bay. They have 0 windows. And then they moved me to Corcoran, which it's just a little, like a skinny. And that's without a write-up. That's because they said, like, you have influence or you can, I had been older at that time and, causing trouble, and they put you away, but that's what they said. Snitch, parole, or die. That's the only way you're going to get out of here. That was their motto.
Damn, that's fucking crazy, man. I can't even imagine. So, how old were you when you realized, like, this ain't it? Like, I gotta switch something up.
I think it was, I always knew in my head, but I just didn't see, because my grandparents planted some really good seeds in me. I was still, a good person, but I would just cover it. I had all this mess and stuff that I'm an adult, but I'm still that kid. Like if you don't deal with nothing, it's gonna continue. So nothing had changed. I maybe it was on year like 18 or something. I was in the Corcoran. I was in the SHU at that time. I had been in there for maybe like 4 years, and my grandmother died. And that rocked me. She used to come and visit me my whole entire sentence. Every other week, we would write letters 3 times a week. She's right here. She's the love of my life. Yeah. And she was all I ever had in the world, her and my grandfather. So I went out to visit with my mom was there. It was my mom and my sister-in-law. My mom sat down. It's behind the window. It's only 1 hour. And I was like, where's Nan? I'm looking behind her. And my sister-in-law just handed the phone. She just reached over. And my mom had it. And I was like, what's going on? And I saw if you have someone in your family, her face did like a twitch. And I was like, what happened to Nan? And she just shook her head. Bro, I wasn't ready for that. The phone fell. I didn't even, I was just like squatting down like on the floor right there. I don't know how long, but the visit was only an hour, and they cuff you up. And when you're in the SHU, you're in dog cages. That's your yard. They keep everybody separated. There's rows of cages, like 50 on this side. You walk through the middle. People see you. Like, hey, what's up, Lonnie? Hey, all right, man. You play the role. I was walking through there, and I remember I was just biting the inside of my cheek and swallowing because I was going to break down just over and over, biting my cheek and swallowing like I need to get to this cell right here. Even the CO was like, you all right? I was like, yeah. As soon as they let me in the cell, it was over. I hit the ground like for 30 days. It was horrible. I was going to kill myself. I had planned on hanging myself. There was no way I was going to survive that. There was no way.
You just thought like it's not even worth it without.
I'm doing life. I'm in the SHU. Like I'm dead. The only thing that I had left, the only light left, it was gone. And I remember thinking, she saw me in addiction because no matter what, she loved me.
Right.
She saw me. I'm a gang member. I still haven't learned my lesson. I'm in prison. I'm a gang member in prison. I'm on drugs. And she would know if I asked her, hey, can you send this $100 for canteen for a commissary, which it's not, So yeah, I was just living with all that right there, that this lady saw me like that, and I don't know, that was a tough one. That's where the change came.
What stopped you from killing yourself?
I mean, I had seen so many people, and when you're living with hopelessness, it had crossed my mind many times, like I'm gonna die in here, I might as well, But it takes a lot more, to get to that, I don't know. I think everybody in their life maybe would like to just it comes there, whether how deep you carry the thought, but I carried the thought really deep that time. I just didn't have the courage. And I was raised religiously by my grandmother, so I said a prayer, and I knew suicide in the way I was taught was a sin. Mm-hmm. So I said the prayer, and I just decided I'm gonna put it off for a day or two. I just worked through the emotions, and finally, at the end of those 30 days, I remember thinking I'm just going to try to become the best person I can that she could be proud of.
And thank God you did it too, because a lot of people get to that point and they don't think it through or let it simmer a little bit, and they end up just taking their own life. And thank God you did it, because now you're here sitting with us and you're not doing life.
Or becoming worse, people go out there and just do some crazy, just go out there.
No, yeah, I was gonna say, because that's like my brother. He's doing a bid right now. He's got a few years left. I don't remember exactly when he's supposed to get out, but it is similar to you couldn't stay out of jail or prison for longer than 6 months, and then this last time he got wrapped up. But before he got locked up again, he had wrote a letter to the judge talking about prison reformation and actually helping inmates be able to adjust to society when they get let out, because essentially when they let you out of prison, they're letting you back out into the same environment that put you back in there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a repeating cycle, because when they let you out, they don't help you after that. They don't try to put you on a program or on a path so you can live a normal life per se. You know what I'm saying? So my brother wrote a letter to the judge that actually moved the judge, brought him to tears and shit. And clearly it didn't do anything, but it's just things like that should be eye-opening for people. You know what I mean? The fact that I was gonna ask you, now that you're out, what is life like for you? compared to like that prison politic lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like how you said it was like really a racial thing and all this, and like you got dudes that were black that came around the corner and hit you up 27 times. Now, like, does that carry on? Like, do you carry those feelings, those experiences, those emotions with you outside of prison? You know what I'm saying? Because it'd be understandable for you to walk down the street and see somebody like a black dude or whatever that could be triggered, whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? So, like, how do you adapt to that type of stuff?
Well, honestly, even going in, you know, like I said, my grandparents always planted good seeds in me. Like I never had hang-ups. I'm from the San Fernando Valley, as you know. Like I went to school out here. It's a mixture of everything. Yeah, so I had friends of all kinds, and I understood the makeup of prison. Like I understood and I'm the dude. Like it's not like you can't talk to them. I'm already like a personable kind of guy. So I had friends from every kind of car. Like, I was, you know what I mean? I was even the one that'd be like, chill, you're getting too, you know? You're getting too cool, like, you know? But yeah, no, as far as that, no, and I was done. I'm done. I'm not in prison no more. Like, when I changed my life in there, I started planning for the streets already and, like, disconnecting. It's ridiculous. Like, that's a ridiculous waste of life in there. Yeah. There's nothing good about it other than the experience you take or how you spend your time.
So, was it weird for you getting out? And, like, is it still, are you institutionalized? Do you have moments where, you know, you're looking over your shoulder or anything like that? You deal with that now?
The only problem that I have is the mornings. I've been trying to find the answer, but I wake up every morning complete panic, like breathing. I have to slow down my breath. It's weird.
To this day?
Yeah, to this day. It happened this morning. Some days are worse than others, but I don't know. I get up and I immediately brush my teeth, wash my face, and I'm on the road running.
You're just staying busy?
Yeah. It's just something I've had to do, which works out because that's something requirement. Anyways, but yeah, the mornings are difficult, and when there's a lot of things that I have to deal with at one time, like car insurance, phone bill, like before my responsibilities were wake up, roll up my mat, work out, eat, read some books, my day's done. That's what you know. Now I got bills and responsibilities, and it gets really overwhelming. And the only way I can describe it is like, you know, when like a bottle gets clogged and it won't, like nothing else will come out because so much stuff is happening. I feel like when all this stuff comes on, it like paralyzes me almost. I just gotta breathe through it, and one thing at a time.
Like when it's close to your release date, are they prepping you for like the shit outside of prison? You know,
yeah, well, I had to go to a parole board. So before you get released, you got to go to the parole board. It was my third time. The first time they denied me 7 years. The second time they denied me 5 years. And to go to the parole board, they ask you some intense, serious questions. Like you have to know in detail. Like they'll say, look, you were born on February 13, 1977. At 16 years old, you committed a murder. You need to tell us exactly how you got there. What happened in the middle. And you need to detail. You know, my mom and dad didn't love me. I was looking for acceptance. I sought the acceptance. I would have done anything for it. Like, it's not an excuse. It's just an explanation.
Yeah.
But you need to know those answers. And in the process, I spent like almost 7 years literally reading books, psychology, learning about myself, addiction studies, courses in college. So life stopped, and I spent 7 years trying to just become the most whole human being I could be. So in that, I'm self-taught. And through books, and they had classes in there, emotional intelligence, Narcotics Anonymous, stuff like that. I'm having people send me different books, like instead of, you know, like Iceman or some kind of mafia book or something that's really a waste of time. I would get like emotional intelligence or Brene Brown. I would start exploring words like remorse and responsibility. And one thing that happened when my grandmother died, I remember like one day I was just like destroyed laying there. And I remember thinking, I caused this to a family for no reason. And that was the first time in my life I thought like, dang, I felt like super remorse for what I did.
I mean, I can't imagine what that is like. I'm glad that you got to a point where you are now, because you are forgiven, whether you feel that way or not. You know what I mean? But what is it like carrying that burden, man? I mean, there was a life lost.
Yeah. Well, I went through this program. It was called Healing Dialogue and Action. And what it is it's women whose sons were murdered by gang violence, and they come into the prison and they sit in a circle with people in prison for murdering, gang violence. And they tell their story. Well, these particular women, I sat across at a table like this. It was 3 women, and they told me like what they went through. Their son was 16, same everything, same my story. And they told me about it and what they went through, each of them. And then I told them my story, and they told me like some days we forgive them, some days we hate them, some days I look at them as my son. And it was unbelievable. And their goal is to try to find healing in that. And they said, because I think the guy told him, this guy's he's no longer involved in gangs. He's off drugs, but he's really trying to work on myself. I really was. And so they spent that time with me. In the end, I told them that exactly. I stepped away from gangs. I'm off drugs, but like there's still a body on my conscience that I wake up every single day. And like, how does a person forgive themselves for something like that and move on? And I remember the lady stood up and she goes, "We forgive you." All 3 of them. And they came around the table. They put their arms around me. They hugged me, and they freed me of that. And like when I do come out here and share, I want to be like the voice of, not everybody's gonna say I sat in a cell and sobbed. I was scared to death on the yard. I'm whether you call it pulling covers, busting bubbles. I want to be the voice for those people, because a lot of homies will not say that. Whether they're proud, whether they're still putting on the act. I felt like it's kind of my duty to put that, because people, and it helps with the laws, and it helps with like perception of people in prison, because they just look, he's a killer, he's the worst of the worst, but how did he get there?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to just put the story of at least you have all the information of how he got there, so you can make a judgment then, at least,
Yeah.
So are you able to talk about the film at all?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you're currently in the process of a film being made. Is that about your life?
Yeah. So, I say it's about my life, but it's also the story of like if you come from broken homes, addiction, and a lot of it has to do with the dog program that I was involved with as well.
The dog program where prisoners raise a dog, right?
Yeah, you train a dog. It covers it's everybody's story. But a little over 2 years ago, I get a DM on Instagram, and this guy Raul Perez tells me, "I've directed a couple of short films. I've done a documentary. These are my films. Check them out. We won some awards. I adopted a dog from a dog program years ago. It's the same one that you were in. So I've been following you on Instagram, and I would love to. I'm trying to make a feature film. I'm trying to like make my name. This is my moment, like in film, and I want it to be impactful. Would you be interested in meeting with me?" We met at Starbucks over there on Balboa and Rinaldi, and literally for the last like 2.5 years, I've spent probably like 5-6 hours with that dude. I get off work, and I've spent the night at his house. We crashed out, and in the process, just work. We're at a point now where we have a complete script that's copyrighted by the Writers Guild. We have recognizable talent, 4 people so far that we've hired. We have a PR team, but we're on a small budget, because we're just starting. And when we go to these big companies, they're like, "What's your budget?" And we just don't have it. So what we started was, it's a seed and spark. It's like a Kickstarter for films, and that's what we're promoting on Instagram. You have to hit we hit our goal mark of $40,000. We have 10 days left. We're gonna make like a trailer, a movie trailer. We have the sizzle reel and stuff like that. It's all on my Instagram. It's all on the Lifer page. But we want to make a righteous trailer, and we're gonna take it to American Film Market, the festivals, and try to get that big funding. And we're gonna take it to all 50 states. It's gonna happen. It's just a matter of when. Yeah. There's just too much energy. The story is way too powerful. The script. There's been agents in Hollywood that are notorious for like shredding scripts that have read it and came back and said, "Dang, that thing's hitting.
Really?
It's powerful. It's really powerful."
When is that hopefully gonna start filming?
So we're gonna film that trailer on October 7th, 8th, and 9th is when we're gonna shoot. We got 3 different locations. Now, what size the budget is going to be is going to depend on where we are in financing. But we've had a lot of blessings. We just had someone $10,000.
Donate $10,000.
Yeah. But we have motion, and people are seeing it in the story. There's a riot scene in there. There's stabbing in there. There's addiction. There's dealing with the death of a family member. The therapy of what dogs can do. Broken families. Everything in there. But there's not a single bad word in the movie.
Really?
Yeah. By design.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I'd like to keep you posted on that, man.
Yeah.
That definitely will help.
Have you seen Shawshank Redemption?
I have.
That's
a crazy movie.
That's, I mean, I think it's going to be the next best thing since Shawshank Redemption. Because it's in the prison genre, but it's not like an American Me or blood in, blood out type thing. It's a story, like, with heart.
A legit story.
And trip out on this, so the guy, one of the black dudes that stabbed me, fast forward 25 years later, he's in the dog program with me.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
You guys raised the dog together?
That's in the movie. And in the beginning, it was like, I don't know, I was a little farther down my road and changed, but I still am who I am, and I know who he was. So I told him like, what's it gonna be? Like, how I was hoping he didn't want problems. I'm trying to go home.
Yeah,
like, I didn't want no problems.
yeah,
But I'm not gonna run from him.
Yeah.
And there was a little bit of tension, but in the end, we shook hands and we trained a dog together. That's my bro.
Yeah, that's fire.
That's crazy.
What kind of dog was it?
A German Shepherd, short hair.
Oh, okay.
And here's the part about it is our goal with the dog program was to get all the dogs adopted. So every Wednesday they bring in the cameras and they have like tatted up prisoners holding puppies and people want to adopt them, right?
Yeah.
My mom is the one that adopted my dog.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah. So I came home like 4 years later to the same dog.
So do you and your mom have a relationship now?
No, we don't. We did when I first got out, and addiction came back into my family really, really bad. It hit my family, and it's still like, it's still pretty fresh. It's not something that, I'm still processing it, so I can't get totally into it, but I think I suffered probably the worst betrayal of my entire life. It was on February 14th, the day I joined Saxon.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably out here. Long story short, I was left with nothing. They took everything out of state. I don't have my dogs anymore, my grandparents, nothing, the ashes, everything. I was just with what I was wearing. Yeah, I take some responsibility. I don't want to put everything on them. But I started fresh, and that was the only time ever that I got into a moment of like, okay, this is where this fucking story is going to end right now. Because, my grandparents left some things for me to get my life together, and they were gone. And I was like in a really dark place. And I was always going to join Saxon.
Yeah.
Always. I used to look at it in prison on the cell phone during COVID.
Really?
Well, I used to do these push-ups. I used to watch Keenan do these workouts in jail. Where he would push up and go against the wall. I would show my son, look at this dude right here. And I always look at the gym. And my celly's out now too. He did 32 years. And so he trips out and I joined. I told him I'm going to get in the gym one day, bro. And yeah, so that day, I didn't have the $500. The retainer and the down. And I was saving, and I was going to do it maybe like a month. But I'm in this mind state right now, and I go to work. And I had done work for my boss's friend for $500. I put a bunch of stuff together for him, and he paid me. 2 months later, this is on that day, I get a Zelle for $500 on my phone. I tell him, hey, your guy actually paid me again. And he calls him, and they're talking in Russian, and he walks away. And I was like, hey, where do I send it? He goes, you can have it. Well, I swear to God, I got in the car right there, and straight there. I got the picture on my Instagram. Julio Senior took it, and in my mind, and then that was it. It's been amazing ever since.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you because I know what Muay Thai has done for me, but what has it done for you?
It's crazy. It became the foundation of my life. Literally, it's literally my center. I drink gallons of water. I sleep well. I try to keep my mind. I got great role models.
Yeah.
It's the center. It's the center. Everything starts there.
Yeah, I can't say enough about that.
I can't.
That's where we met. I'm trying to get P in there too. He's gonna get in there one day.
That's why I gravitated, because I seen you put in work, and I seen I was like, Shane. Dude, I'm so inspired by Shane.
Shane's such a dog.
He's 17. That's when I went to jail, and I had a homie that did Muay Thai, and I used to always want to have him teach me. So I'm looking at him like, dang, it's inspiring, man.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, man. So I don't want to take up too much of your time. Like I said, I know you're busy, but
no, we got to fight later.
Yeah, for sure, we're going to fight later. I think the main thing that I've learned from this conversation, man, is your road to redemption is real. You could have gave up when your grandma passed. You could have just stayed in that gangbanging mindset. I have family still locked up who's never going to get out of that mindset, and you have a lot of mental strength. It's not easy to come out and try to turn that corner and do something else with your life. And now you're working on a film, you're having powerful conversations, people are starting to hear it and are very motivated. You were on, I don't know if I can say the name because of like copyright stuff, but you were on a big YouTube page. I don't know if that was this year or last year, but I know it's got hundreds of thousands of views, and I was looking at the comments.
Who's YouTube page? Fuck it.
Underwhite, Soft White
Oh,
Underbelly.
Soft White Underbelly?
Yeah, yeah, that's legendary though.
Yeah. So I was looking at the comments, and it's like random people, and they're just like, "Hey, I don't know this man. I have no connection to this man, but this is one of the most sincere stories
Well,
I've
that
ever
keeps
heard."
me, that keeps my head above water.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
real.
love reading those. And the other day, I was on one, and that guy actually said, while talking about my grandma, he's like, you know what? Everybody in the chat put Sheila Mary James in my grandma's name. I'm just watching.
Damn.
It was so dope, dude.
See,
Yeah.
that's super dope, and that's what happens. Like because your mental strength, that shit still lives on because of that. Like I said, man, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I appreciate you coming and chop it up with me and Pete. What do you have other than the film? Like, what are you really looking forward to right now?
Just that. You know, working on the film. I'm writing my biography now too. Like I'm on page 90. Just keep working, putting stuff out, trying to balance the scales, man. I caused a lot of mess and pain in the world. Now I just want to heal. You know, I go into juvenile hall, I go into the prisons. I try to help guys change their mind. I got it for grandma, for my victims, and I want to fight, man.
Yeah,
I want to fight. I keep, you know, a lot of guys on my team are fighting in the morning crew and all that, and I just keep training, working hard, man. Just, you know, staying motivated.
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely gonna have to have you back on.
That's what I was gonna
Get
say.
some
Yeah.
updates on the film, biography.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If you need an extra, if he's an actor, you can bring it up.
Yeah, I mean, hey, okay, so as part of the film, as part of the pledge, like, we do have incentives, like, for $75, you can be an extra. For
sure.
$350, bring your dog to set day. For $500, you can have your own monitor and be there, like, with the crew and everybody. So it's cool, like.
Where can people learn about the movie? Is it on Instagram or something?
Yeah, so, I mean, for the movie, go to Seed and Spark,
Steven Spark.
and you put in Lifer.
And is that like the website, seedandspark.com?
Yeah, and it'll come up. Or you can go to my Instagram, I got all the links, and then there's a Lifer Instagram also. And it just has everything. It has like a little sizzler reel in there, like what it's about that we made, our mission statement. It has in detail where every dollar is going to go, cast, crew, equipment. It's really, really thorough.
Yeah.
We got a really good team, and we're up front with everybody's money.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool. I want to take people along, and just for that to happen, for somebody like to get out, and for this to be successful, it will open the doors for other people, and you know, help me put other people on. And
100%.
yeah.
Well, look, man, your story is really inspiring. Like, I learned a lot more about you today, and I have a lot of respect for you. And I know a lot of people that are watching this will get inspiration from that. But at the end of the day, man, we just appreciate you. And yeah, like Pete said, we'll have you back on, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank
Got
you.
a lot of shit to talk about, man.
Thank you, brother.
That's right.
Appreciate you, dog, for sure.
Yeah.